Hi guys, PJ here, back with another Destiny dungeon. Yeah, we got Spire of the Watcher this time, and yeah, I've made this as short as humanly possible. This dungeon, in my opinion, is a little bit harder than ones like Grasp of Avarice, etc., or Shattered Throne. In fact, Shattered Throne is probably the easiest one, in my opinion. This one is a little bit harder, and, well, it will test your parkour skills pretty damn well. So if you're not great at parkour, yeah, now is the time to practice, I'm afraid. Also with this dungeon, you might want to take a range of weapons with you because critical hits are going to be pretty important at a certain part. By the end of the dungeon, you are literally going to be seeing cables in your sleep because there's an awful lot of doing the same thing, repeating it with slight variations. So, you know, I will go over each section so you can see exactly what to do. Now, this is taken from, I believe, 2 or 3 of this dungeon that I did. Some of it's from the very first time I actually did it. So, you know, if we're looking a little bit figuring it out, it's because we genuinely were figuring it out the first time sort of thing. And as you can see, we did most of it with 2 of us. So it is possible to solo this, but I'm pretty sure the guys you've watched on YouTube that have soloed this, they have, you know, spent God knows how many hours getting all the god rolls and the perfect build and all the rest of it. We're not like that, guys. We just like to play Destiny, and we do the best we can. So, you know, watch and hopefully get something from this. This is the first section, okay? And what you are seeing here is yellow cables everywhere, okay? Now, the yellow cables have basically charge nodes at the end of them. So you need to find the very start of the first cable, which is right around this corner where my teammate is dead. So let's just get him up. Now you want to allocate ideally your teammates to specific things. Okay, so we're going to shoot the first node after, as you can see, we've just shot the bad guy there. He's dropped a white well on the floor. Now that gives you the electric charge, the buff, to be able to shoot the nodes. If you haven't got the buff, or the buff runs out, you can see it counting down on the left there, 19, 18, 17, attrition. If you lose the buff, you got to kill another one of those and basically start again with getting your charge. So you shoot your first node after you've got your charge, and while your attrition is still live, you then follow the cable to the next node. You shoot the next node. There's 4 cables in total, each one connecting to a node in this middle piece. This middle piece opens a big trapdoor basically when it's charged. When all 4 cables are blue, they're all sending power to it, it opens up. Not particularly difficult, but you've got to keep an eye on where they are. Sometimes they're quite hidden, the little charge nodes. If there's more than one of you, and I highly recommend there is more than one of you, have somebody killing ads. I was killing ads on this particular part. Just keep the ads down, because otherwise the person who's trying to concentrate on looking at the cables, looking at the nodes, and making sure they've got the attrition is going to struggle. So get somebody on ads. Like I say, that was my job. And, you know, make sure you keep the number of them down. So, you know, if you can get rid of them quickly, all the merrier. Anyway, when it opens, as you can see, you've come all the way down into the substructure, as it were. You sort of make your way through some little tunnel passages. You can't really get this wrong. There's only sort of one way to it, so it's nice and easy. Now, this dungeon can drop normal loot. You know, it's RNG at the end of the day. It's random, completely random, but it does have some nice stuff of its own, which I will show you at the end. In fact, I've got the nice long arm scout rifle from the very first time that I did this, which is quite a nice looking thing. So, you know, it's worth doing this dungeon. Just I highly recommend you don't try and do it solo. You know, I mean, fair enough, a lot of players, different skill levels and all that, but when you do see them solo, like I've stressed before, people who've got these god rolls have spent literally thousands of hours rolling the correct weapon and getting the correct armor and all the correct mods and everything. If you're that person, fair play to you. You know, like I say, we're not. We sort of try and do everything and, you know, see how we go. But we came okay with this dungeon. This dungeon was a pretty good one. We enjoyed doing it, and that's the main thing. Did you enjoy doing it? And this one, yes, it was very, very good. There's a lot of good design elements into this, and there's some really crafty placements of nodes and things that you're meant to land on, as you will see. Well, really shortly, one place in particular, when you're in this sort of metal substructure area, and you're sort of bouncing from platform to platform. Now, the person in front of it on my team had done it once before. Yeah, this was actually my first run on this particular dungeon. And he sort of knew roughly where to go, but, you know, there was some improvements to be made on the sort of route that you take that I will show you very shortly. Anyway, I was on ad control, so we're clearing some ads before we go jumping off here, there and everywhere. A warlock with obviously the power well and a warlock with a health well, if possible, if there's 3 of you. So there's 3 of us later on. If you've got 3 of you, that's the sort of thing I'd recommend. Weapon-wise, again, you're going to need something with high DPS and something that can clear ads very quickly. So you don't want to be, repeatedly hitting the same target. You need to be shooting, moving on, etc. You're going to need some precision weapon, linear fusion rifles, something high-powered. Rocket launchers for some stages of this are okay. Other stages, they're a complete total waste of time. So don't go in there with one set of weapons, guys. Your favourite stuff and nothing else. Make sure you've got a bit of a choice going on so you can switch between the sets, which is ideal now. Of course, we do have loadouts in the game, so there's not really any excuse to not take something with you. Anyway, I digress. We are hopping from platform to platform, as you can see, and you are going to fall off a couple of times. We most certainly did. We're coming up to the tricky part. Now, you notice, my companion there went straight across to the ladder on the right-hand side. That was lucky. I highly recommend you go to this very, very tiny ledge that's sticking out on the side of the post here. If you can make that jump in one that he's just done, then fair play to you. I don't think I could, not easily anyway. So anyway, land on the little ledge, and then when you're at the little ledge, position yourself on the corner. See how it juts out, quite awkward, and jump inside. From there, you'll be able to, work your way up this little framework and get to the very top. The idea with the Spire is you are working your way to the top of it. So hence a lot of parkour and a lot of routing and figuring out where things go. And it is a very, very high structure. So yeah, there's a lot of this, guys. But like I say, it was fun. It was a good dungeon to do. I've done it a few times now, and I do still enjoy doing it, even though I've done it. So, yeah, worthwhile. Anyway, let's skip forward on what we're meant to be doing here, which is pretty much explaining the tricky bits of this, which isn't obvious, and we're coming up to one right now. You've got a bit of a leap of faith coming up. Okay, no, not this bit. This is the easy bit. So you come up to this point and you can't actually see where you're going to land. So it's quite tricky, but it's actually easier than it looks. Just basically go to the far right, jump off, watch the pillar sticking out there at the top, and you got to land on this platform. On your way down, you can quite easily disable any bad guys. So it's a nice big landing area. It's not difficult, but it looks daunting because you don't know exactly where you're going to land. It's not hard. In fact, you don't actually have to kill all this stuff. You can just go straight in the light elevator, light lift, whatever you want to call this thing. It's a lift. It takes you up. You don't have to kill everything. You can jump straight in it. But hey. So anyway, you go up and up and up for a pretty long time, actually. It's I don't know if the elevator needed to be this long, but we were certainly in it a while. When you reach the top of it, you are then looking at, well, getting to some more wires eventually. It's all wires and jumping, like I say, the whole lot is. Before you get there, though, there's this little ledge that you hop on. Like I say, you can't really get this wrong. You've just got to follow it, follow it, follow it. There is an annoying bit that I'm going to point out to you, and it's really stupid, it really is. So you jump up onto these ledges, you're working your way up like a tunnel system, and when you get to like the top ledge, there's this really annoying sticking out piece of wall. It looks minor and you might miss it and you might be there straight away. Every single time I've done this dungeon, I always hit this little ledge and end up bouncing back down again. Very annoying, but hey, that's something else. Anyway, move your way through the air vents, get to the top so you can get to the wires. After you've done this little jump over here that we're going to show you. So out of the windows that you've just seen, there's basically a small like ledge that you land on. We were just having a look around there, see if there was anything to collect, but there was nothing there. Rally banner, of course, always handy to put one of those down, nice location. There's your ledge, guys. You're very high up at this point, so you've got to jump up onto the ledge and then jump up again. A lot of jumping, a lot of parkour. And you're going to get to your first, what I call a circuit of wire. Now, these wires go around the outside of the spire, outside of the building, and they've got nodes on them. There's 2 lots of wire, so there's your yellow wire. Yeah, you've got to find the start of it, find the node. But because before you do that, you've got to get your electrician, so you've got to go and find the dude to kill, and then obviously stand in the white well so you get your electrician. There we go. We've just shot the first one there above the door. Follow it round, follow the cable, I was on ad control, like I was saying, so follow your cable. Keep following your cable around, shooting the little nodes, and you go all the way around the building. So you will literally shoot, shoot, shoot all the way around the building. It does get hard though, because some of the ads that appear, as you can see, are pretty damn tough. So, you know, I mean, this is meant to be a 1600 light level, sorry, power level. I'm showing my age there with the old Destiny onto light level. 1600 power level dungeon, but yeah, I must admit, sometimes I was taking quite a battering from it. Not the best player, not the worst player. There you go. So work your way around until you've done both. Now, both nodes are completely finished. You'll have your blue wires going to the nodes above the door, both lit up, and eventually that will open the door. Like I say, you've got quite a few, and you've got to follow the wire to find them. Some are tucked right underneath ledges, some are tucked up inside little outcrops that stick out from the building. Bungie have done a pretty good job of hiding these things. If you're, you know, the wingman, cover the person that's doing them so they can concentrate. Try your best to, you know, keep the bad guys away from them so they can concentrate. Anyway, you have powered the generators up, the door's open, and you're in another airlift, light lift, lift. When you come out of the lift, you're on another platform, another level. Rinse and repeat, basically. We have got cables going all the way around the edge of this again, yellow. You got to get your electrician. You got to find the first node, which is, you know, just normally near the doorway. Shoot, work your way all the way around, hitting every node. And if you see the electricity things, yeah, don't go in them. You're dead. So don't go in the electricity thing. Don't think you can run underneath the electric. You can't, it will kill you. Okay, so you've got to jump round the outside on these little solar panels or whatever the heck they are and keep going. Now there's nodes everywhere, but you must do them in order. So you've got to start on number 1 node, yeah, and then go to number 2 and then number 3. You can't do them out of order. So it's got to follow like a piece of string with knots in it. You've got to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth until you've got the whole thing lighting up blue, or sort of bluey colour anyway. Don't forget your electrician. There's no point in shooting them without getting this buff, getting this power up, and some of them, as you can see, they're pretty well hidden. Quite sneaky. That's in the little electric that was rising. Yeah. There's also one on the tower to the left that you can see. There's a bit of yellow cable going up. Right at the top of that tower is a node that needs shooting when you get to that Pacific one, and you've got another lift there when you finally finish to go, well, you know, even higher. We're actually around the back at the moment, so we're at the position where we came up to this level. The door that we're going to be accessing to go up to again is actually around the other side. So like I was saying to you, it's work your way all the way around following the nodes. Yes, we've got blue going into there, look, blue coming out there, now we've shot it. Keep going, there's another node, shoot the node, etc. That was the doorway we've just passed. Okay, so you've got 2 wires coming around and actually hitting, you know, the doorway to power it, to open it, because generators do power them. It's quite repetitive, and you do lose track of which nodes you're on and which cables there is. Even if you're looking at them, you can easily lose track. If you've never done this before, it'd be like, okay, I thought I'd done it, I'm going to have to backtrack and look where the power isn't getting through. It is tricky, so be warned. But you'll get there in the end. Like I say, if there's 2 of you, make sure you're covering the person who's trying to concentrate. Once you've done that, it's not too difficult. We're on our way sort of up again. If I can just get to the front door, I should be able to show you there in the footage playing in the background. There we go. There's a node hiding up there. That's the tricky one I was on about. A lot of people do miss that because it's sort of stuck right up in the air. There's one in there as well. They are literally everywhere, and the ads do get out of control somewhat. So, once you've cleared your ads, once you've done all your cables, I did say you'd be seeing cables in your sleep, I really do mean that, you can then go up to another level. Great. So guess what's up the next level? Yeah, you guessed it. More nodes, more power cables, up we go, and do another lot. Now I'm going to trim this down, you know, an awful lot. It did take us a lot longer than this to actually do these tiers and do these cables and these nodes, but I showed you hours and hours of footage of doing these. You'd be like, yeah, okay, I get the point. By now, you've obviously got the point. Shoot the node, move on, shoot the node, move on. Make sure you get your electrician. Not difficult, but there's a lot to it, and if there's only 2 of you, it does get rather busy, as you've seen, so it's not the easiest dungeon. Like I say, in my opinion, it's probably a medium-ish type difficulty dungeon. It's Certainly good fun, but there's a lot to it. Make sure you've got enough time to do the dungeon. If you've never done it before, I'd probably allocate a couple of hours to it, and that's if you've got a team where at least one person knows what they're doing. So if you don't know what you're doing, well, hopefully that's why you're watching this guide, so you can learn what to do. There's some more complicated bits, there's some, you know, DPS bits, etc. But the cables are a thing, and you are going to keep re-seeing them, and it's sort of the feature of this particular dungeon. It's just one of them things, you've just got to, you know, grind away at it, grind away at these tiers, get your way up the spire, you know, until you get, because like I say, it does have some good rewards, this dungeon, so it's very worthwhile doing it. One thing to bear in mind, you'll notice some pretty powerful ads out there in the background, and you'll notice me firing rockets at them. Now, I suggest you use a tracking rocket launcher if you're going to use a rocket launcher. If you're using a dumbfire one, you're going to miss most of the time. They are quite far out, so use a tracking one, try and time the shield rotations, and you can normally knock them out. Now, there's a few different ones out there if you've got Galahorn, or, you know, maybe the Apex one that I'm using there for one of the raids. Can't remember which raid it was now, but I think it was the Dreaming City one. But something with tracking on it is ideal. Grenade launchers tend to not have the range to get the stuff that's quite far out, and you know, they're not the most accurate thing on the planet. You could use you know, a fusion rifle or such like, but for me, for the big stuff, rocket launcher is king. Always has been, always will be. That's just a personal opinion. Bows are pretty good, they've got decent range. You know, a lot of this stuff is ranged. And then obviously for your primary, you just want something that's going to deal with these ads in 1 or 2 hits. You don't want to be putting a ton of bullets into one of these tiny ads, because they spawn that quickly. You're going to be overwhelmed with them, and if you get overwhelmed with them, then the person that's trying to do the nodes and the cables is going to have to start fighting the ads, and you know, it's going to take you forever to actually get around these circles. Although it looks like, you know, we're sort of bombing around and killing stuff and shooting stuff, it's easy to get bogged down, and you're just there forever and ever and ever. You want to be able to get it done, get on to the next level, and sort of move on from it, if you like. You don't have to kill everything. In fact, there's no point in killing everything, because it'll all completely respawn. When you've done the last node, everything automatically dies, so that's, you know, sort of quite handy. And then you're free to go into your doorway. Like I say, a lot of rinse and repeat, guys. This is tier 3. We've just gone up again. Same thing, no difference. Follow the nodes, follow them all the way around, change the colours. You're going to get sick of me saying that, because you haven't finished even when you got to the top of this thing. There we go, they're all dead. We finished the 3rd tier. You see them all die there. There's your chest. Nice, get yourself some rewards there. Got the long arm at that point. Nice scout rifle. And up we go again. Up, 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 and keep going up, up, and up. And then things start to change a bit. Well, they change a bit after both of us got stuck on another one of these annoying jumps with a little lip on the edge. See the little lip on the end of that? Yeah, we both hit it. And I'll be honest with you, we both hit it numerous times and bounced back down again. The joys of video editing make it look like we didn't hit it quite as often as we did. But still, once you finally got past the lip boss in this tube, finally got past the lip boss in this tube. There we go. Run around the corner and jump on one of the computer terminals just to get a little bit more height, and then from there you can jump onto the sort of scaffolding, the racking that you can see there. Run along, turn right or left, take your pick, you can go around, you know, sort of either direction. And then you're going to jump up onto a very narrow ledge that sticks out, and then make another couple of little jumps, and guess what? You're at what I class as the toughest boss in this dungeon. Yeah, not because of how much health he's got or anything like that, just because of the way you have to kill him. Okay, so with this boss, I'll tell you straight off, rocket launchers, forget it, no chance. Something that can hit a small crit area is, you know, needed, literally needed. And you're going to have very limited time to get your DPS, your damage in, your damage per second in. And he's also going to be right in front of you, literally right in front of you. The way to do this, again, is, you saw the 4 nodes in the middle there, you guessed it. You got to follow the cable after you've got your attrition buff from killing one of these guys, not one of those guys, one of those guys. There's your attrition buff, get your attrition buff, and sort of follow the cable. Now, if you're running a full fire team, keep the ads down, because God, there ends up hundreds of them in this area. But you can split up and do one each normally. I mean, that's what we did. You know, we were able to keep the ads at bay and do one each sort of thing, and then you're left with just the last one. But leaving one is pretty good. So we run through, it's pretty straightforward this, because they're all in a straight line, sort of. Some of them are tucked down the side. But anyway, light it all up blue, run back, and then one of you is going to do the last cable. The other two of you are going to go to whichever end the last cable is being done on. Okay, so if somebody's running along doing the power nodes, you want to be at the end of that scaffold or decking plates or whatever the heck it is, right at the end of it. Now remember earlier on I said to you, you would be better if you got one warlock with a damage buff and one warlock with a health buff, yeah, to drop your buff down. That's why, because you're going to be so near to him. So we are standing here now waiting for the last connection to be made, just clearing some ads. Okay, you'll notice that's just sparking away in the background there, but we'll clear some ads out of the way and basically wait. Everything will go bluey green again, and you'll notice the boss on the right, that is your big boss. There we go, there's your DPF circle, put the health circle down as well. Now this thing's got eyes around the edge. See all the little round circles that have just lit up? You want to shoot those as fast as possible, guys. You've got to get rid of them as fast as possible. Switch to your heavy, target the very, very center that's lit up, the bit that looks like it's got a light bulb in the middle of it. Very, very small, and you'll notice I've switched to sleeper because it's quite an accurate gun with a high DPS. If you're going to pop your super and stuff, 10 to 1 you might miss that in the middle. If you're going to use a rocket launcher, even when we're tracking, you're probably not going to hit it. You need something that's going to smack the thing right in the middle. If you're good and get a little bit lucky, you'll do this in two runs, yeah? So in other words, when it's backed off, it resets. You've got to go and do all the nodes, all the cables again. Yeah, so this is round sort of 2, so there's doing the DPS damage after we've done all the nodes and the cables again. There we go, written it in the middle, as you can see. Boom, 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 his health's going down pretty well. So, speaking of well, don't forget, you need the Warlock wells, ideally, so you're going to need Warlock on your team, maybe 2, so you can do the health well as, you know. Can't stress enough, really, how useful Warlocks are in this. So, if you're a Titan or a Hunter, try and, you know, get a buddy that's going to bring a Warlock along. Anyway, we got him down, as you can see, to that in, well, sort of 2 runs. This is the 3rd run, and on the 3rd set, yeah, you're going to kill him. Just make sure you've got enough heavy ammo, kill some ads, pick up the ammo, etc, etc, and do some more nodes. Make sure they're all changed, same thing. The only thing I will say, if when you're right at the end and the boss has stood right in front of you, you can sometimes have some ads gathered behind him and they will walk in front of him and get in your way, so you can't do your DPS. If you see that happening, do what we did on this last one. Now, we're all moving to the correct position at this point to, you know, get the DPS phase done and get it all cleared out. Pop your super and clear a load of the ads. You're not going to need your super for the boss. You know, like I say, his critical hit area is that small. It's not going to do much if you do your super. So once you get there, if you're going to do it at the end of the scaffolding, at the end of this structure, use your super to clear everything else out of the way. Because if they get in the way while you're trying to do your DPS phase, it's such a short phase, you're going to do hardly any damage. You're going to be doing like 5 or 6 phases in this, and it's going to take you forever. So just make sure, and I will give you an example of that because we ran into the exact same problem that I was just talking about. So here we are, we're waiting now for the nodes to change. We're getting an absolutely hammered look from the end of the structure. We need them out of the way really quick before the boss turned up. So pop super, kill them all off. We're not aiming at the boss, we're aiming at the ads to get rid of them. The minute he goes live and his eyes appear, kill all the eyes off straight away as fast as you possibly can. Target the centre while he's near to you, because it's much easier to hit when he's near to you as he's backing off further and further away. Obviously you don't want to chase him, you want to stay in your power well. DPS, 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 and pop. You will get him killed off. It just takes a while. You can run forward once your well runs out and finish him off. We were quite lucky to get this done in 3. You know, he was on the end of his thing, he was about to reset, but we did it, so all good. And boom, he goes, and there you go, you got some drops, you got a chest, etc. Now, the middle bit is where you drop down to the next section. If you're going to do that, make sure you've gone all the way around and collected your stuff. Yes, you could go to the postmaster, I suppose, but hey, everybody likes a chest and to be able to get that done. See, I got an engram there, look, stuck in the middle of it. But hey, let's move on to the next part. Okay, so when you've finished getting your loot and having a look round the area, you won't be revisiting it, so, you know, have a look round if you wish. Not a lot really to see, but still, pop underneath where the loot box is, and on one side there is an opening. You drop down onto these trellises, and you basically work your way down the trellis to drop down to a next sub-level. Now, when you get to the bottom of this, try and remember to jump. If you hit it, you'll hit it pretty damn hard and possibly die. Keep going until you get all the way down. And guess what's at the bottom? Yeah, more wires, more nodes. So you're going to be shooting. It's only a quick level, okay? It's basically a one level. There's minotaurs that will give you the electrician charge, and you're basically going to hit the nodes in succession, just like you've done before. It's not hard. Just start at the start node, follow the cable. Cables are red. The difference is you're going to have to do them quickly. Okay, so have a look, kill all the bad guys that are doing your head in, and have a quick look around the room to find your nodes. Okay, once you find your nodes, you can start popping off your minotaurs, getting your electrician, following your nodes around the room. You'll hear them ping as you do them, and the cables will obviously light up and turn blue. Now, that sounds easier than it is, because you've never been in this room and because you're going to be under attack by, you know, quite a fair bit of stuff. It can get a bit sort of hectic-y looking for the nodes, because, well, Bungie love to tuck them out the way and, you know, not make them too obvious. But basically what we're trying to do is open an area up. Now, we're going to charge a generator. You've heard that one before, haven't you? Yeah. So you've got to do these quick. That's the main thing. So make sure you know where everything is. If there's one of you doing these, which I highly recommend one of you do them, if there's more than one of you do them, you're going to do them out of sequence and probably screw it up. So follow them. As you saw there, that actually switched off. We weren't quick enough. It turned back to red again. So we've got to do them pretty damn quick. If that happens, you're going to have to wait for another minotaur so you can get your electrician charge by killing him, etc, etc. There we go. So 1, 2. See how fast we're shooting at these? 3. It's okay working as a team as long as you're talking to each other. If you've done this with looking for group and you haven't got somebody on a mic, it's really frustrating and really easy to get it wrong. Anyway, we've done it. It's opened up. We're dropping down onto these fan blades. Now, the fan blades you'd think probably wouldn't be a problem, while sometimes they are. Some are slow moving, not a problem. You can tiny jump dead easy. Some of them are really fast moving. They're going to make mincemeat of you or your guardian friends. In fact, you'll see our team, we had one member that, you know, was just unlucky. You know, he was down quite a few times from the fan. It's quite frustrating. If that happens, just wait it out. You know, you'll get there eventually. It's just one of them mechanics that can be a bit, I've done it again, I'm dead again. If that happens, like I say, you know, just wait it out until you get there. Try and land better than I did there on the last bit. Yeah, you can kill yourself doing that one. But guess what? More wires, guys. Lots of wires everywhere, look. Yeah, wires and nodes. Anyway, we're going to kill everything on this this level, this particular area. There's your minotaur to get your electrician. Again, we've got red cables. No, so red cables, you're going to do this quickly, well, as quickly as possible anyway. Try and clear the ads. So if you're in the team, remember one of you is on ads. You can have somebody on ads all the way through this dungeon. That'd be helpful, so you've got an assigned role. And if anything, you want something that's going to give you like a void protection. Yeah, so maybe you've got a mod or something that will give you a bit of void protection. There's a lot of void damage in this, and the boss at the end does a lot of void damage, and the boss at the end really hits hard. You'll notice there we were still waiting for one of our teammates to turn up with the fan of doom, you know, simple as that. Fan of doom, absolute nuisance, that things are. But clear the room, light up all the nodes as fast as possible, wires turn blue, and bingo, you will open the door and you can sort of progress. So down we go again, more fans, more sushi. Yeah, you guessed it, just be careful on your way down. If you do get killed, hey, we've all been killed, don't worry about it, it happens. But look, they're all spinning at different speeds. So do one at a time, land on a ledge, position yourself, try and calculate it. You know, if you're going to try and drop all the way to the bottom, you're dead. Don't. Look out for the little red slots, jump in them, in the air vents, air ducts, whatever they are, and make your way to the last encounter, the big boss. Yeah, the all-powerful big boss. And he is powerful, make no mistake of that. Long way down, long elevator, do a little jump so you don't land too hard. And we are in what is basically the final encounter area, I suppose you could call it. You know, it's like a power generation room, so it's got loads of little mini power generators everywhere, and obviously arc electricity going up and down that you don't really want to get near. And this has, again, cables and, again, nodes, and guess what? You shoot them in sequence. So you find the very start one, it's just literally walk around the room, basically, 5 in total. Pop, 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 walk round, opens up, drop down. Somebody will still be probably stuck on the fan, that's quite normal, don't worry about that. All the way down here, so if you're still stuck on the fans, your teammates are going to pull you through at this point. Now you're in the end room, or should I say rooms, because there's 2 of them. So this room here has a combination of both of what you've been doing all the way through the game. You've got red cables and you've got yellow cables. Now the red cables, in essence, are door control. There's a big door in the middle with a big boss behind it that you've just been basically running past all the time, that we were looking at right at the start. You shoot the red ones in quick succession, okay? So there's 5 red ones and you've got to go pop, 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 open them quickly. Don't forget you need your attrition buff from the Minotaur, you've got to kill him first. Door opens, boss guy comes in, shielded, you can't touch him. You can't kill him in any way, shape or form, so don't even try. He's going to follow you around and hammer the living daylights out of you. So you're probably going to die. I died. Everybody else in my team died. It's one of them things. You may well die. Anyway, what we're going to do then, it opens up the door to the secondary room. Now, you don't have to wait for the door to open to get to the secondary room. There's 2 side entrances. You can sort of walk around the edge and get to the secondary room. But what that does is open 2 more nodes for the yellow cables. Yellow cables are the same as the whole rest of this dungeon. You shoot them in sequence. Okay, so when you shoot them in sequence, you're going to basically like overcharge the main generator in that room, and you're going to come up with a warning that says, and I've wrote it down, reactor surge. So it comes up saying reactor surge. Soon as you get that warning, you're trapping the boss, the bad guy, in with the reactor. So you need to run back where both the yellow and the red cables are, your starting room. Get in there and then shoot the red nodes as fast as possible to shut the door back again. Okay, so you're going to shut the center door. The boss won't go through the side entrances, he'll only come through the middle. So we've shut the door. The yellow cables are overcharging the generator in there, the ones that you shot in sequence. Now, when the generator overloads, guess what? It drops his shield. So as soon as his shield drops, you're in your well. So you've got your health well down, you've got your power buff well down. Hammer him. Rocket launchers, supers, anything. You don't need to be precision DPS on this guy. Just absolutely hammer him with everything you've got. You've got a limited time to do it. Again, if you're sort of quick and you've got, a reasonable team, you can do this in 2. So we'll get to, we got into halfway there roughly, and now we've got to do it all again. So we've got to run around, we've got to get all the yellows, all the reds to open the door, and then we've got to get all the yellows again to charge the generator. Some of them are in tricky positions, so you're going to have to follow the cable. Don't forget to follow the cable, one node after the other, after the other. Second round of DPS after we've trapped him in there again. Or by the way, if you're unlucky enough to get trapped in there with him, when the generator sort of does its cycle and overloads, you're dead. So you're not going to be in this DPS phase. So make sure everybody is back and ready to do the DPS. They've reloaded everything and they are ready to go. Can't stress enough, otherwise you're going to be doing 5 or 6 rounds of DPS just like the other boss. Okay, so we got unlucky. Look at that, 1 millimeter of health. Yeah, that's just the way it is. So 1 rocket, he was dead. And there's some nice loot. We got some random loot and some TM Moss loot as well. So pretty damn good. Like I say, it's a fun dungeon to do. I do rate it. It's one of my favourites, in fact, overall. It's just a little bit tedious with the nodes and the wires repeating all the time. But guys, hopefully this was of some help to you. I will continue my quest of showing you every single dungeon in the game, and then after that every single raid in the game. So, you know, keep watching for future ones. I do appreciate you watching. Thanks a lot for now, and see you next time. Bye.
In the margins then.